Fighter jets have a pretty important job to do. They are fixed-wing aircraft used for air-to-air combat against other fighter jets. So it makes sense that they have to feature superior tech and power to make them better than their opposition. From a fighter jet capable of carrying 6 bombs and missiles to one with 5 fuel tanks, here are 15 of the most dangerous fighter jets in the world. Number 15. F-22 Raptor Jet. The F-22 Raptor jet is the United States Air Force's most superior fighter jet. It's stealthy and, you guessed it, incredibly dangerous. But there's a lot more to this jet than meets the eye. It's fast, has super cruise capabilities, and it has a pretty impressive vectored thrust. When it first hit the market in the early 2000s, it was easily one of the most advanced fighter jets out there. It had the best radars, sensors, and data link technology. But technology changes, and the Raptor, to a degree, was left behind. Newer fighter jets were capable of taking advantage of missile queuing technology, which means the pilot can lock onto another aircraft or jet just by looking at it. That's not a possibility with the Raptor. Much of the limitations in this jet comes from its use as a stealth jet. You can't add too many new sensors and technology without compromising just how stealthy it is. Fortunately though, there's a hardware and software update due in this jet's future. They will take advantage of the best air-to-air missiles and a much improved network warfare capability. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Number 14. Sukhoi Su-57. The Sukhoi Su-57 is an impressive twin-engine 5th-generation jet fighter known for its stealth and, well, a few other things which we'll get into below. Initially, the jet was a joint venture between India and Russia's Air Force, but India pulled out. Rumor has it they were not impressed by its stealth performance. It has been a slow road of progress for this jet. It's been in development since 2002 and planned to be the first aircraft in the Russian military to use stealth technology. It took its maiden flight 8 years after it went into development, after a nearly 3-year delay due to technical issues. Then, production was set to roll out in 2020, except for quite an embarrassing test run. The very first Su-57 hit the sky at an altitude of 8,000 meters without any issues. But then, the control system failed. Without much notice, the jet headed on a downward spiral. Unable to do anything about it, the pilot made a quick decision to eject at 2,000 meters. Still, Russia is on track to deliver the goods. This fighter jet may not be on par with the United States Raptor, but it's still an impressive bit of kit. Number 13. The Chengdu J-20. There's one fighter jet you won't want to get on the wrong side of, and that's the Chengdu J-20. Many people were in awe when they saw it for the first time at the 2018 Zhuhai Air Show for the People's Liberation Army Air Force. It flexed its muscles with rolls, climbs, and some sweet maneuvers. But it wasn't just its acrobat-like moves that captured the people's attention, it was its weapons capabilities as well. The J-20 opened the missile bay doors to show off 4 new PL-15 missiles and 2 PL-10 missiles. Its overall impressive features rank it among some of the best fighter jets out there. It comes kitted out with an electronically scanned radar, 300-kilometer range, and an approximate missile range of about 20 to 22 kilometers, if it can compare with other short-range missiles. Perhaps one of the most standout features of the J-20 is its engine. Engineers developed high-thrust turbofan WS-15 engines to put this fighter jet leagues ahead of its competition. It had its first flight in 2011 and entered service in 2017, before entering the combat training phase in 2017. By 2018, the first J-20 combat unit had been formed. Number 12. Dassault Rafale. One of the most dangerous, but undoubtedly one of the best fighter jets is the Dassault Rafale. Its name means gust of wind and burst of fire, which is a pretty fitting description for this dynamo. It was brought to market by Dassault Aviation with a French twin-engine and canard delta wing. Thanks to its multi-role design, it's also an ideal fighter jet for a variety of tasks, like aerial reconnaissance, ground support, interdiction, air supremacy, and nuclear deterrence missions. Unsurprisingly, it's kitted out with some pretty sweet weapons to assist in many of these tasks. It comes with an autocannon with 125 rounds and 3 types of missiles, including air-to-air, air-to-ground, and air-to-surface. It even has a nuclear missile as the icing on the cake. The Dassault Rafale is, in a word, impressive. It can reach speeds of up to 1,381 miles per hour and has a combat range of about 1,150 miles. It also has space for up to 2 crew and has a maximum takeoff weight of around 54,000 pounds. So what makes it dangerous? Well, it's obviously a powerful jet, but it doesn't have an unblemished record. In 2007, it was involved in a fatal accident caused by the pilot's spatial disorientation. In 2009, 2 Rafales also collided in mid-air during test flights, resulting in 1 pilot's death. Number 11. Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. The Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II is a group of single-engine, single-seat combat aircraft rather than a single fighter jet. They were produced not only for strike missions, but also for air superiority, making them stand out from the crowd. These aircraft have some pretty impressive features that make them exceptional for reconnaissance missions, intelligence, surveillance, and electronic warfare. They entered service in 2015 and have been turning heads ever since, especially during their first time in combat in 2018 by the Israeli Air Force. Now, this particular aircraft family makes up the bulk of air power in the United States Marine Corps, Navy, and Army. It will remain this way until around 2070. But what you surely want to hear about are the weapons, and boy do they have some goodies. These have 2 internal weapons bays, 4 weapons stations, and space for air-to-air missiles. The outboard station can carry a variety of bombs and cluster munitions as well. As advanced as this aircraft is, it doesn't have an accident-free record. In 2014, an F-35 engine caught fire at the Eglin Air Force Base, which caused around $50 million in damages. Fortunately, no one was harmed. In 2020, one also crashed while landing at the same airbase. The pilot ejected and lived, but contributing to the crash was pilot error, oxygen system design, and a malfunctioning head-mounted display. Number 10. MiG-31 Foxhound. The MiG-31 Foxhound is classed as one of the most capable Russian air defense interceptor jets. It was the first Soviet fighter with look-down, shoot-down capabilities, and it also has multiple target engagement capabilities. How much cooler can this fighter jet get? The secret to this jet's success is its fixed phase array antenna radar. NATO calls it the Flash Dance, and it's the world's most powerful radar to date. By the time 1987 came around, over 150 of these jets had been rolled out from northwestern USSR by the Soviet Far East. It's clear to see it's a desirable, if not a little dangerous, jet. This jet is also tasked with quite an important job: air defense. To do this job effectively, it carries long-range air-to-air missiles. It can then engage 4 targets at once. What's more, it's a pretty cool-looking aircraft. It has swept-back, high-mounted wings with square tips along with 4 underwing pylons. 2 turbofan engines sit in the fuselage with massive air intake on both sides. The bubble canopy and back-tapered tail fins complete the look. Number 9. Eurofighter Typhoon. The Eurofighter Typhoon stands out from the crowd for so many reasons and is the epitome of flexibility and efficiency, 2 things that militaries demand. Out of all fighter jets, the Eurofighter Typhoon is one of the few that has all the boxes ticked for processing power and adequate weaponry. It can carry 6 bombs, 6 missiles, a cannon, and a targeting pod while using its power to provide in-flight targeting for the bombs and in-flight updates for the missiles. This twin-engine multi-role jet is also incredibly agile, which makes it a dogfighter in combat. That's probably one of the many reasons it's popular in the Royal Air Force, German Air Force, Italian Air Force, and Spanish Air Force. They cost around 90 million euros to build, and about 125 million euros was spent on development and production. Even though they are expensive, they are definitely a superior aircraft that makes them worthy of the price tag. They also have a maximum speed of 1,320 miles per hour and a combat range of about 863 miles. What's more, they come with a revolver cannon with 150 rounds, bombs, and both air-to-air and air-to-surface missiles. Number 8. Boeing FA-18 Super Hornet. The Super Hornet from Boeing is one of those fighter jets you'd pin up on your wall as a youngster. It definitely looks pretty awesome, and once you learn more about it, you'll get to know that it really is in real life too. It's a twin-engine, multi-role fighter aircraft with both single and tandem seat options available. It comes with a rotary cannon and can carry both air-to-surface and air-to-air missiles. There are even 5 extra external fuel tanks, not to mention the option to configure it as an airborne tanker. The Super Hornet, developed by McDonnell Douglas, took to the skies for the first time in 1995 and went into production just 2 years later. It entered the United States Navy fleet 2 years after that and replaced the Grumman F-14 Tomcat. It now plays a role in both the US Navy and Royal Australian Air Force. This beautiful example of fighter jet perfection can reach speeds of 1,190 miles per hour at 40,000 feet and has a range of around 1,458 miles. It can hold a variety of missiles, bombs, and pods, and also features some exciting technology like radars and integrated defensive electronic countermeasures systems. Number 7. JF-17 Thunder. The JF-17 Thunder, also known as Fierce Dragon, is a single-engine multi-role combat jet developed by Chengdu Aircraft Corporation in China and the Pakistan Aeronautical Complex. The $500 million cost of developing this affordable and modern aircraft was split between both countries, and the goal was to make it a cost-effective alternative to Western fighters. To be fair, they did a pretty great job of that. It is capable of carrying over 9,500 pounds of weapons, including air-to-air and air-to-ground weaponry. Thanks to its highly advanced stores management system, it can integrate with almost any weaponry. Alongside missiles, this aircraft also comes with a twin-barrel cannon under the air intake on the port side and space under the wing for ejector racks for unguided weapons like rocket pods, anti-runway munitions, and gravity bombs. Since its introduction in 2011, there have been quite a few accidents involving the JF-17, which is why you might consider it a bit of a dangerous fighter jet. One crashed at the PAF base Minyas in 2011 during training exercises due to a technical malfunction. The pilot managed to bail out, but his parachute didn't open, and he sadly lost his life. There was also another accident in 2016 over the Arabian Sea, and another in 2020 on a training mission. Number 6. McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle. In the late 1960s, the United States Air Force was looking for an air superiority fighter that could be suitable for a variety of conditions. Calling upon McDonnell Douglas, they came up with the F-15 Eagle. This American twin-engine all-weather aircraft would enter service in 1976. Out of all jet fighters on the market, the Eagle would have to be one of the most successful. It has no losses in aerial combat, but has over 100 victories. Many of these victories came courtesy of the Israeli Air Force, since it's been exported to Saudi Arabia, Israel, and Japan. The goal of this aircraft was for it to be a pure air superiority aircraft. It did have ground attack capabilities, but they weren't often used. Since the initial aircraft was developed, several upgraded variations have been added to the fleet. If you don't tend to follow fighter jets but this one looks familiar, then it might be for a good reason. It featured in the IMAX film Fighter Pilot Operation Red Flag. It was also spoken about in the non-fiction book by Tom Clancy called Fighter Wing. Number 5. Sukhoi Su-35. The Russian Air Force's Sukhoi Su-35 is a multi-role air superiority fighter with one seat, two engines, and an entirely futuristic design. Honestly, this jet looks like something out of a movie from the future. It's unreal. It was originally developed for the Soviet Union based on the Su-27M, and the first prototype hit the skies in 1988. Once the Soviet Union was dissolved, the Su-35 underwent a redesign to make it suitable for exports. They produced over a dozen of these jets with thrust vectoring engines to replace the canards, a new weapons control system, and a redesigned cockpit. The redesigned version made its first flight in 2008, and the Russian Air Force purchased them in 2009. Given that the redesign took place to encourage overseas purchasers, the People's Liberation Army Air Force in China and the Indonesian Air Force also placed orders. It's not hard to see why they did. This jet is impressive. It has a maximum speed of 1,400 miles per hour and a 2,200-mile range. It also comes with an autocannon with 150 rounds and plenty of rockets in the form of anti-ship, anti-radiation, air-to-surface, and air-to-air missiles. It's not short of bombs either, with all manner of TV-guided, laser-guided, and satellite-guided bombs. Number 4. F-16 Fighting Falcon. The F-16 Fighting Falcon is one of the United States Air Force's most versatile fighter jets. It makes up the majority of its fleet, with over 1,000 in service that have undergone various changes to make them suitable for different jobs. For example, some are suitable for ground attacks and electronic warfare, while others are better suited for air-to-air fighting. What makes this aircraft special is that it's incredibly maneuverable and ideal for locating targets in a variety of weather conditions. It can also detect low-flying aircraft. If it has to undertake air-to-surface missions, the Fighting Falcon can fly over 800 miles to deliver its weapons, defend itself, then return to base. Because of how well it performs in all weather conditions, it doesn't need to have visuals to be able to bomb with accuracy. The bubble canopy of this aircraft is another standout feature. It offers unobstructed forward and upwards vision and greatly improved side and rear sight. The seat back angle is also more comfortable than ever before, sitting at 30 degrees rather than 13 for better comfort and gravity force tolerance. You can't help but love what the Fighting Falcon brings to the table, or, well, the battleground. Number 3. Saab JAS-39 Gripen. The Saab JAS-39 Gripen would have to be one of the coolest looking fighter jets out there. You won't find too many people who would disagree with that statement. Just look at it. Its aesthetics are stunning. Saab, a Swedish aerospace company, produced this single-engine multi-role fighter jet. It has a canard and delta wing configuration and 2 engine options, depending on whether you purchase the A and C series or the E series. This aircraft's goal was to be versatile as a fighter, attacker, and for reconnaissance missions. Saab came up with the concept of the JAS-39 in 1979, and it went into service with the Swedish Air Force in 1996. As time has passed, upgrades have been made, such as more advanced avionics, and these newer versions have been in service since 2003. By 2020, there were at least 271 Gripen models available. The big part of building these fighter jets was the equipment. They needed to be ready to defend against possible invasions, so the jet was made with broad compatibility for a variety of weapons. It comes with a single cannon and includes air-to-air and air-to-ground missiles. After its upgrade, it was also compatible with both long-range and short-range missiles, as well as laser-guided bombs. Number 2. MiG-35. The MiG-35 is one of those fighter jets that just gets better and better. It has undergone upgrades over the years to make it a real head-turner for those lucky enough to see it in action. It was seen by many at Russia's MAKS 2019 event and was nothing short of impressive. The Indian Air Force pilots flew a twin-seat version of it at Zhukovsky Airport near Moscow. The export version of the jet had so many cool upgrades that it was getting as close to being a 5th-generation fighter as you can get. You can purchase both single-seated and two-seated jets with a robust airframe and new AESA radars. They also have air-to-air and air-to-ground weapons of high precision as an added bonus. Another cool upgrade is the increased range. It has better internal fuel capacity, which makes it more suitable for the military than ever before. It can carry bombs and missiles weighing up to 14,330 pounds on 9 hardpoints, and also comes with an autocannon with 150 rounds. The MiG-35 can take to the skies and reach speeds of up to 1,491 miles an hour, while its range is about the same. Number 1. Chengdu J-10. If I loved fighter jets as a kid, the Chengdu J-10 would definitely be a poster I'd put on my wall. While it's known as the Chengdu J-10, people also call it the Firebird or Vigorous Dragon. Pretty sweet names for an awesome jet. It's a single-engine, multi-role fighter jet that can operate in all weather conditions. It has fly-by-wire flight controls and was produced for the People's Liberation Army Air Force in China by the Chengdu Aircraft Corporation. This jet went into production in 2002, and as of 2020, there have been around 468 built. There are lots of fancy features, but we know you want to hear about its weapons. It comes with a twin-barrel cannon under the port side and a variety of hardpoints for weaponry and equipment to be attached externally. This includes bombs, missiles, avionics pods, and drop tanks with fuel. With this jet, you can also deploy air-to-air missiles and radar-guided missiles, along with radar-guided bombs and anti-ship missiles. Several variations have been produced, including single and tandem-seated versions, and some with features to make it lighter and stealthier. The latest, the J-10B, comes with a thrust vectoring control engine and incredible maneuverability. So much so that it can perform the Pugachev's Cobra, which is a dramatic move where the plane raises its nose vertically, then momentarily stalls, before dropping back to normal.